She's here to share her personal story and inspire us with her elegant table settings for the holidays. So I'd love to introduce you to Laura.
Thank you all so much for having me here this morning. I would love to be a member of this club. I have a love and a passion for tablescaping. I started my career when I was quite young. My mom was a fashion designer. I also found out in the same month that I carried the BRCA1 gene. So with that, lots of screening happened. Those of you who don't know, BRCA is, so I had a very high chance, I had a 98% chance of getting breast cancer. And he was my youngest. I had a full hysterectomy, ovaries, womb, everything removed, which was challenging in itself with the 3 young children at home. But I suppose, and then my test results came back that I had early onset ovarian cancer. So I dodged a bullet and took my life, just decided to just change the way I lived. I didn't change anything drastically, but it was more, I became much more appreciative for all the little things. I appreciated every family dinner, I appreciated every corner of my home. I had to spend so much time there in my recovery. And through all of this process, I decided that I took a good bit of time out while these surgeries were going on. I then had a double mastectomy as well. That was me in my recovery there. I decided to share my journey because when I was going through it, I just wanted to find somebody else who'd been through it. I wanted to see the picture of the mom who was still managing. I wanted to see the person who could still work. I wanted to see somebody who could still live their life normally, who went and did their groceries, who was managing, who was in surgical menopause, who had double mastectomies but was still capable, and I couldn't find that person, so I decided to document and share my journey and open up my Instagram profile. It was raw at times, and actually looking back sometimes I'm like, oh my god, did I actually say that? And when I look back at my own journey, I kind of get a bit shocked. I'm like, who is that person? You know, I'm kind of nearly inspired by myself. I don't actually believe that I went through that, and not only did I survive, but I think I kind of thrived. So I did a podcast with Georgie Crawford, and that really opened up. She has a podcast called The Good Glow. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but I would recommend it. It's an absolutely inspirational, wonderful podcast, and from doing that, my community of BRCA followers and people who have been through similar journeys, not necessarily the exact same, but we built a bigger, wider community. To follow, just as I was back on my feet, bouncing around, COVID hit. So as I was walking out the door, we were all dragged back during my recovery, and I decided that when I was better and stronger and my children were that tiny bit older, I was going to do something. I was going to build a business that was around everything that I loved. I didn't want it to be, obviously I've always loved being creative, loved designing clothes and fabrics, or all of that was just like a wonderful time, but it wasn't something that I was 100% passionate about. I didn't run out the door every day to work, and I was adamant that if I was going to go back to work and I was going to work it around my family, I was going to do something that I absolutely loved. The journey so far is, it started in our spare bedroom. My poor little baby was kicked out of the nursery, and he had to go and share a room, and we turned his room into an office at home. We launched in February 2 years ago, nearly 2 years, it'll be 2 years this February, and the first week that we launched, I thought we had bought enough stock for the summer, and we completely sold out the first weekend. So my husband was like, I told you, you can do this. So it quickly grew, which I'm unbelievably grateful for, and we have grown, our team has grown. These are my 3 secrets to what I think is helping me day to day. A little cottage, we are primarily online, but we are opening every Saturday from now until December. If anybody did want to come for a pop-up, it's from 10 till 2, and then we're actually opening this Thursday as well from 10 till 4. I'm going to take you to the tables now, because that's enough about me, and I'll give you some. That you don't necessarily have to buy everything for a Christmas table, or for any table. Obviously, looking at these, you would think they're completely over the top. That's the way I like them. But I totally get it. There's absolutely no space for food, but that's okay too. I'm only joking. But what I would suggest is, if you are having an event, it doesn't have to be Christmas, it doesn't have to be a holiday, it could just be a simple dinner table. But the idea behind it is, when your guests walk in, it sets the mood, it sets the theme. It's like a complete showstopper. And the idea is, everything that's on the table doesn't necessarily have to be bought for a table. So if I was having somebody over to my table, or over to my house for dinner, and let's just say it's Christmas dinner, all these trees would have been on my mantelpiece. So, or they would have been in the hall, or they would have been on a radiator cover. I don't know if anybody's heard of frogs before, but this is what they look like. So they are, you see them there? They're like little pins, yeah, and it's weighted at the bottom. So if you pop those in your bowl, you can stick your stems in them really easily, and they stay up straight. But it allows you to have a much lower, but still wide and kind of dramatic flower arrangement. They're battery operated, and they're so safe. These ones in particular, I think, look really real. The water, or the melted wax effect at the top is really nice, so they're really handy. You can put them on timers as well. They look beautiful on the fireplace or wherever, maybe throughout the whole year. So just on mixing fabrics, quite often I dress a table the way I would dress myself, and my rule is always to not wear more than 3 colours, unless it's obviously like a print of some sort. But if you are setting a table, so for instance this table is primarily green, white and blue. Night before Christmas, just pop them all on the table, fill it up, make the drama, and then before the food comes, just take them all. Food wouldn't be my forte, but I can do the styling of the table. I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions or? Yes? All of our table linen is, all of our printed table linen is from India, yeah. Yeah, all of these are hand block printed, and they're washed in salt. And they actually washed beautifully. I can promise you that they keep their colour. They're amazing. We've been really, really lucky with our artisan suppliers, and we have 2 now that we deal with all the time, and it's been a wonderful journey with them. So I always do it the same way, but as I was doing this, Kendra was like, how did you make that so fluffy? So if you have your napkin, which is folded like this, and if you put your ring through it, it's really flat. Like it's just, there's no drama. So you have to open it up fully into a full square. Pop it down onto the plate. Do you love how I just like pop that over the candle and this doesn't matter? And you pinch the center, the very center point, like this. And then at that point, you put your napkin ring over it. And then you have a much fuller, much more dramatic. The other thing here, actually, I just tied on some of these just to show you, like, really effective and lovely. It's just a velvet ribbon as a bow as well. They're really easy, and it's a lovely way to bring in maybe a touch of Christmas as well without having to go wild. You can just get some gorgeous red ribbon and tie it onto whatever napkins you have at home, like your cozy blue or green, and then just turn that into a Christmas table. Yeah. Great job. But so we have our showroom and our office in a cottage, which is right opposite the Goat there in Goatstown.
Thank you for coming and giving us such amazing